All right. Welcome to Source Material, a podcast where we tell each other funny and formative stories from our lives and then make it into an RPG and play the story out together. Like a combination of long-form improv, collaborative storytelling, and maybe a touch of group therapy. Today we're joined by another guest, a friend from Maddie's college job and a longtime D&D pal. Hi, Jonas.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Very happy to have you.
Jonas.
Immediately terrible and clippy.
You gotta keep that.
Immediately terrible and clippy.
You gotta keep the
Oh,
clippiness. Yeah.
A full robot voice.
Am I okay right now? I moved my laptop physically a little bit, and
That's a
that
little
must
bit
have done
better,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, that is better.
I think it's
Wow.
because you yelled, but whatever.
I remember meeting. Okay, the first met Jonas actually was when I was touring. Not touring. I was looking at an apartment that I wanted to rent in Vancouver. In UBC during our college days. Do you remember this, Jonas?
No, I don't. Not at all.
You don't? Oh my god.
No.
You know how you remember how we both lived in that apartment? Like you were there the year I was, like in
Oh my
Tim's
god,
basement.
yes. Yeah, that
And
basement.
so
Yes, oh my god, that's how we
was-
met each other? Oh my god, that place is awful. Dude.
I was being
That's right.
was
Did you live
being
there before me?
shown. No, I lived there after you. I remember because I was
After
being
me.
shown the apartment, and you were in the room that I would later take, and like he like
Oh, the
in like
dojo?
Tim, the landlord,
With the
invited us.
tatami mats and shoji doors? The little Japanese
sorry.
dojo? Oh no, that was
No,
your
I
room.
didn't live in that room. That
Oh my
that
God.
was confusing. Wait, so maybe I don't know if this was you or not then, because I was told to like knock and open this door, and I like started opening the door, and then I remembered to knock, and like there was just a dude in there on his bed as we looked at the room he was staying in to be like, should I stay here? And I could have sworn that was,
was
you,
not
but now
me.
I'm
No, that was
realizing
not me.
years later it was not.
No, but
That
I
was
do,
still a
I do
stranger.
remember you in that house though. That's so funny. Do you want to know the first time I met you, or I saw you, or like was introduced to you from afar? Was I
Oh my
went to
God,
this
please.
thing? Someone told me they're like, I was like, what are you guys doing tonight? And they're like, oh, we're going to this like improv thing, and I was like, okay, that sounds fun. So we went to this like weird little like lecture hall at UBC, and we brought a bottle of wine with us to this lecture hall, and we were drinking a bottle of wine, and we were watching improv, and it was so good. And this guy came on stage, and he was amazing, and it was you. I was like, dude, this guy is so good. And that's and then I later worked with you at Mahoney's, and I was like, I saw you at improv like 2 years ago. So that's how
Oh
I
my
first
God,
saw
that-
you. I don't think I
That
ever
is
told you
really
that.
fun. No, I had no idea. And nice. Do you remember what this? It would be insane for you to remember the content of an improv scene.
Absolutely
Okay.
not. Absolutely not. It was you know, I've been to a couple of improv shows, and they all kind of blend together, and that was, you know, after a couple
Yeah, of
a
course.
bottle of wine. So, you know.
Right. I would often bring one of those big double bottles to those
Yeah.
shows, and don't tell my mom and dad, but I would frequently finish them before the show finished.
Those are awesome.
Uh,
That's how I knew you were like an
was a
improv
good
person,
time.
and then when I
I-
heard you were playing D&D with me later, like years later, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be such a joy, because I knew how good at improv you were, and I was like, this is gonna be so much fun.
oh, that's so nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
buddy.
yeah, I was yeah. Anyways,
Okay, we have to do the rest of our people intros. Okay, Nathan will cut this so that's earlier. But hi, I'm Maddie. I am damn. What do I say about myself?
You're setting a precedent here.
I'm a person.
I launch into intros without having any idea of what is coming next.
Sometimes you don't
my
quite
main
land,
character
it turns out.
No,
Yeah, we had
it's
this big like setup about you being like the best improv.
Wow, Emma! Oh my god!
Sad. Hi, I'm Maddie. I used to be a good improviser, and now I'm a fucking hack.
Yeah, they used to believe in themselves.
It was all
I used to
scripted.
think I might be okay at something. Yeah, it was scripted back in UBC. Time to come clean.
I knew it. All right, I am Nathan, friend of of all the people here. I'm cutting that part. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Emma.
All right, Jonas has a story for us today.
I do. I didn't really understand what the word formative meant. But I think this is a story that's more like indicative of like the kind of kid that I was, and like a pretty standard American kid, boy. And I was I'm privileged. I mean, I live in Hawaii, so there's that too. So this story obviously comes with a little bit of that. But anyways.
Hey, our last story was like me going to the horse races with my family, so.
That is true. Well, I'm come from Hawaii, and that's like a big part of me. So like, this is this story about like, growing up in Hawaii and being a teenager in Hawaii. So anyways, when I was thinking about like a story to come up with, I think I was a little bit tainted by the idea of it being a role-playing game, so I thought of just like adventures that I've been on as a kid. And so so I have a story. So when I was about like, I don't know, maybe 13, 14, maybe around 14, 15, 16, I don't remember. I was a teenager. And one day I was like swimming out in the ocean in my town, and I swam out to this little island that's about a quarter mile offshore, and I would do this every once in a while. There's like good diving there. It's a pretty decent swim. There's like stuff out there. So I was diving alone, and I see this like thing at the bottom of the ocean. It's maybe like 20 feet down, and it's like shiny and it's like kind of cool. And I was a teenager, so I was like, well, it looks cool. I'm gonna go find this thing. So I dove down, and it was this knife, this like big like diving knife, this brand new like yellow hilted kind of like shiny, brand new diving knife, big with like a serrated blade on the end. It was cool, And for like a teenage boy, this is super cool. I was like, this is awesome.
Definitely.
So I dive down, I move some rocks around and like pull it out, and I like resurface, and I'm pretty close to the island, so I swim back to the island, and I'm just like, I'm on the island with this knife. And I'm like, this is super cool. I stoke on it for maybe a few more minutes, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I have no pockets. I can't swim back home. Like, it's a quarter mile. I need my hands. And even if I get to shore, what am I going to do? I'm just going to be walking around the beach with like this crowded beach with like a full-on giant knife in my hand. That's going to be crazy. So I couldn't do that. So I was like, well, fuck, what am I going to do? So I dig a hole on the island.
You buried some paper?
I buried this knife.
Sorry, just to recap. So far, you've gone to the bottom of the ocean, gathered up a weapon and treasure, and then because you couldn't return with it, you buried it on an island.
It wasn't safe to return. Someone might steal it, Nate. A pirate could have gotten it, so I buried it on the island.
Like, I don't know if my story is going to translate well. Anyways, let me tell you a story about the time I went to Atlantis.
I'm not even done yet. That's just the beginning.
I know. All right, keep going.
So I bury it on the island, and I'm like, I'm going to come back for this later. Because I come back to this island every once in a while. I'm like, I'll figure this out. I will come back to this island. I'll have a plan later. Fully not having a plan, because I was a teenager. So weeks go by, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks go by, and I'm hanging out with my buddies Dax and John. And we're hanging out at Dax's house.
Dax and John! Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
Very standard American boy names. Yeah, they're great names. So Dax lives on this canal that connects to the ocean. That's connects to the bay that I was swimming in. So he lives in that town. And we were just kind of hanging out at Dax's house. We were teenagers, and Dax was like, let's go do something today. Let's go out into the ocean. It's like a beautiful day. Let's go out in the water. And John's like, yeah, let's go like paddling, or like, let's go swimming. Let's go. Sometimes we would like go out to like the same island, kind of hang out there. And I was like, wait, boys, do I have an adventure for you? And so I told them about the knife. I told them about everything. And we get Dax's old rinky sailboat that's kind of like strapped up next to his house on land. And I remember distinctly having this huge rainbow flag sail. And like we're the most like, teenage boys, and we're just ready, and we're like, we put this thing together. We like kind of clean it up a bit. We like make sure it's all working. I think we steal some of his dad's beers and stuff, and we throw them into the boat, and we go down this canal, and we make our way slowly down. Sorry?
Were you in the Coming of Age movie?
Yeah, right. This is what formative. You said formative. This is like my. This is
amazing.
So we got this boat, and there's like this big bridge over the canal, and the mast of the sailboat was huge, and it was too tall for the bridge. It wouldn't clear the bridge. So we had to, while we're going down this river, take down the sail and paddle the boat through under this bridge, and then we had to, in the middle of the canal, put the sail back up while it's moving. And then we don't know how to sail very well, so we slowly made our way across the bay to the island, and then we couldn't park the boat, so they just circled the island while I jumped out and got this dive knife, and then I think we just hung out and drank on the boat for like a while until just the day ended. Like I said, I think real stories in life don't really have an ending. I guess the ending could be that I found the knife. But yeah, that's my story. I don't know. There's a lot to work with there, I think. I wouldn't say it's formative, but it's definitely like this kind of stuff happened to me all the time. I used to always get into trouble like this and do stuff like this.
Do you still have it?
I still have it. Yeah, it's in my garage right now. I saw it the other day. It's still there. I have no use for it. I don't think I've ever used it.
Okay, I'm proposing something right now, which is that we add a Flash future ending like the Titanic. Where like
I think it's like something where like we add a Flash future where like Jonas has to use it in like some sort of a terrible situation, and then that's obviously
what could you possibly use a knife for? It's just a knife. I mean, I should have thought about this when I was a teenager. I was like, this is useless. There's a reason it's at the bottom of the ocean.
A, defend yourself in a knife fight. B, sever a rope that is constricting your wrists after you've been kidnapped. C, other options. Knives are an important survival tool.
Pirate on that same sailboat. Use it. We got.
Yes.
Oh, what's this world gonna be?
Yes.
Pirate, obviously.
It screams pirate.
It definitely screams pirate.
Oh yeah, it's very water worldy.
We're not better than pirate.
Oh, we've not tried to be better than anything. I think we've done Western, space, and I guess just Peaky Blinders so far.
Specifically, we did Western, unreleased Patreon content that will never come out. Space Western. Well, I guess it was more of a road trip in the end, and then Peaky Blinders. Vague London old times.
I will say, personally, you guys can shoot this down, that's fine. Personally, I feel like pirates, but with a like airship twist, is where I would lean. What are your thoughts on that? Or do you guys want to do strict pirates?
We did already do space pirates.
Well, we did. Airships are different than space, but fair enough.
I'm willing to consider airship, but I think like you found it diving, right, Jonas? Like I think
I think water was like a central part of this, right? And I think like the most formative part of this was probably the ocean for me.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
The underwater very important.
Yeah, the swimming with the knife. I don't know. It's just. I was thinking about this like while I was paddling too. So I was like, damn, that's like. I remember being out here and like in the ocean. It's one of my favorite places of all time too. Just that island is just one of my favorite places. I go out there and I just relax and I like, it's peaceful. There's no one out there. It's my favorite place ever is Flat Island. So. I don't know.
Also, side note, I hear that dolphins are making their way back to the east side. Like, my family that's been paddling forever on that side never used to see dolphins for, like, decades, and they just started seeing dolphins, so...
Oh my god, I want to see a dolphin. Hell yeah.
I want to hear more about Flat Island. I want to hear more about your relationship to Flat Island. But also, tell me about when you found the knife. Like, was it kind of... It sounds like it was a little anticlimactic. Did you just go with your boys and dig up the knife?
I don't really remember, but I think, so I think I had to convince them, right, about that. They were like, no way you did this. And I was like, no, for sure, like, for real. Like, there's a knife on the island. I promise you. I will show you.
Did you, like, swim with it in your mouth to the island? How did you get it to the island?
I think I swam one-handed, probably. I didn't in my mouth. No way.
You didn't Sinbad it?
That's definitely not a thing anyone's have ever done. That's highly dangerous and not practical.
Who wants to do a pirate theme but thinks that people don't swim with sailboats?
Yes, and hand. And it was a sword, not a knife.
So as you swam with this
It was
sword,
actually a sword that made you King Arthur style.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was obviously like Excalibur sunken in the ocean.
It's also
Yeah.
You could be like King of Atlantis after this too. That's another option.
I mean, it's definitely a MacGuffin magical weapon for sure, is what it is.
Oh my god, like I'm getting high fantasy vibes for sure.
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
so mystical and magical. What were you about to say, Jonas?
No, I was gonna say, like, I mean, with my friends convincing them to get the knife, I definitely had to convince them about it, and they didn't believe me, and they were like frustrated with me because they had to like sail this boat around the island several times while I like swam back to shore and like looked for it. And then obviously it's like a tourist island, so there's like people on the island, and like they do these like kayak tours to the island, so it's filled with tourists after like in the middle of the day on a weekend especially. And I'm like, had to like slink past them and like dig up this like hole and like find my knife. And I was probably ecstatic when I found that it was still there after like a couple weeks too. Like then had to swim back to the boat.
God, that's an easy way to raise the stakes. Too is like it's not tourists, it's someone else that you have to slink around, like some sort of ruling government power. I don't know.
So you mentioned your friends not believing you. Was like little kid Jonas, like teenage Jonas, often telling tall tales, or was your friends just not really in the mood?
No, I mean, to be completely honest, I don't think I'm not a very good liar, so I don't think I was the kind of person that would do that. It's like it's not like something you brag about either. I was like for sure, guys, there's like a knife there. Like I want it back. Let's go get it. And I don't know. I don't think they didn't. Maybe they didn't believe me, but maybe they didn't think that that they would still be there. I don't know.
I feel like high fantasy is good, but I also think pirate is like pirate high fantasy rather than like sea king high fantasy is my preference. I think. At least for this story, there's so much like
Pirates of the Caribbean. It's pirates meets high fantasy, right?
I also want to know the personalities of your friends.
Of Dax and John.
Yeah, sure.
Dax and John.
Man, it's hard to describe your like long-term friends. I guess they just kind of, they've always been the same guys. I've known them for years. Character archetypes. Yeah, so Dax, I mean, in his later years now, he's become quite like educated and like very like this like smart and like does stuff. But back then, he was this like little. We used to call him like a little meatball. Like he's ripped. He's like this short guy who's like maybe like, but he was just jacked and would like just work out all the time. And had these two twin brothers who were like these massive, big paddling guys. And he was just kind of like you're like. I don't know, like a meathead, a little bit.
Nathan, edit this out. Was he a...
Yes, he's a... Yes. Yeah, so that explains a lot, right?
Is that a question about family names?
Yeah. That's his last name is Daxon. Yeah, they're infamous. They're like these like Kailua like big dudes who like paddle and are like just like
family of meatballs. Okay, we have to bump out of this card and not bring it back up again.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, if I describe Dax this way as Dax, I mean, there's not a lot of Daxes, so it's going to come out that way anyway.
Well, you could
might have to
not use his name. We could, like,
True.
I have no problem with what we've done so far, me editing that and you changing that.
We could simply call him Meatball.
One of the greatest tragedies of this story will be losing the name Dax. Name Dax is quick to
but I do notice that's a very specific name.
I don't think he'd care. I can text him right now to say, do you mind if I use your name in a podcast?
Okay, right.
Cool.
Hey, do you mind if I slander you in a podcast?
Just make him seem nice. No, so I would say like back then he was like this really like ripped, super strong dude, and like, but he was also like, he read like so much. He would read way more than anyone else, and was just like, would pull out these like cultural references out of nowhere. So he was like, one of those like, I don't know, it's kind of a fun character, like the big strong dude who like happens to be pretty smart too. I don't know.
I love that.
Or the barbarian wizard.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. And then John, I don't know. John's just a really good, loyal friend. He's like my best friend, so he's just a very good dude, like kind guy, very smart. He's an engineer now. He's Hard to say. Hard to describe him.
Okay,
He's
if you had to pick random characters from fiction for each of you guys.
No, I am trying.
Style.
So many characters in fiction have these like significant flaws, and I would just feel so bad putting any one of those characters onto John.
if for your friends, if you guys were each a season, so like winter, spring, summer, fall, who's winter, who's spring, who's summer, who's fall?
Oh, that's good.
Emma, that's the cutest question I've ever heard.
This is
I love
all
that.
all that me and Emma do, like all day, is just talk about people that we know or like other things like that, and put them into weird categories of.
Interesting. That's an interesting one. I would say I'm fall. Dax is winter, and John is spring. But I don't really know how to describe why. That's just the feeling I have.
Okay, but that's a good start.
I've been watching a lot of Simpsons, and like John kind of reminds me of Milhouse sometimes. I don't know.
Oh, wow!
I mean, back then he was kind of dorky. But
I thought you were trying to be nice to your friends.
I love Milhouse. He's awesome. I'm definitely the Kyle from South Park of the group. Dax is definitely John feels like Stan to me. And Dax is like, oh dude, Bob's Burgers. You know, like the bully in Bob's Burgers. Not
yes.
Zeke.
I was thinking about
Dax reminds me of Zeke a little bit.
like
Sweet.
But he's like nice, you know. He's like got these like great qualities. I think Zeke's one of the best characters. He's like not actually a bully at all.
He's just an accidental too physical bully.
Yeah, he's just kind of like I don't know.
Right.
That's kind of Dax, but none of these
He
like
just wants to
accurately
raft.
match them. I don't know. These are bad ways to describe them.
To be fair, we're just going to be taking them and playing them in bad versions of them that aren't really them, which is why
You can also just play them how you want to. They're just two boys. Like they're just like the placeholders for two teenage boys. Like it just doesn't even matter. They're just you can make whatever characters you want onto them. They're
Perfect.
just back then they're so different to where they are now. They were just we were just all three teenage boys just having fun.
Do you remember like how their personalities came out in the context of this story? Like, was one of them more not wanting to do this, being like, "Oh, I don't know if we should steal my dad's beers or whatever," like, or was one of them like, "Yeah, like
I feel bad saying no to all your questions, but like I wouldn't say our personalities really came out that much because we all just kind of played off of each other, like this energy of like the sense of adventure and like wanting to go out and just do something.
Cute.
I mean, looking back on it, I mean, I feel like when you write a story, you want like different character personalities, but in like real life, I feel like a lot of times we're all just kind of people, and like the situation kind of dictates what happens more so than like people's personalities sometimes. I don't know, especially when you're teenagers, like we're so, what's the word? Influenced by just like what's happening rather than like our personalities. Because I feel like teenagers just really don't form personalities until you're like, I don't know, until these like formative things happen to you, right? I don't know. That's just looking back on it. That's how it feels. Maybe in the moment I would have remembered more, but I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I don't know.
which is fair. Like we said, we're mostly just going to be using them as like, random people.
It is always a fun question figuring out whether or not you will play yourself.
Yeah.
I want to see the knife at some point, but first, can you just describe it to me? And describe it to me like you're not looking at it, but you're trying to remember it from your childhood memory. Describe it to me like you're seeing it for the first time as a teenager.
Yeah. I mean, I just posted the picture in the Discord chat, so it's going to be hard for me to go back in time now, but I do have an image. So I remember it being super shiny and super sharp, way sharper than I thought a knife could get. And then I also remember the hilt of the blade being really bright yellow, like neon yellow. And I remember it looking new, brand new, even though it was at the bottom of the ocean, trapped underneath this coral. And then I remember it being a lot bigger than I remember dive knives being. I thought of dive knife as being a small little pocket watch thing that you pull out, but this thing was huge. It was maybe almost a foot long. And I remember it having a serrated edge and a really sharp edge.
Oh my god.
And I just remember it being really cool. And I posted a picture in Discord, so that's what it actually looks like.
Idea. idea. The fact that it looks so new and it is so sharp implies that like probably a diver lost it very recently in that area. And so for like coming of age, like hooligan boy story, like I really want like a big mean diver like as the antagonist. Like he's like a bad dude around and like he's kind of known, and like you find out it's his knife, but you don't tell it, you give him back, and then he is like after you and he's looking for the knife. That would be a 4-person cast too.
I also feel like building on that, though, if we wanted to do high fantasy, we could also be like, that guy is actually like a person who lost that sword like thousands of years ago, and there's some weird whatever.
Exactly. And it's a mystical sword that's
more strictly like Old Man McCruthers or like Davy Jones McCruthers.
Yeah, and it's like the one ring that's like still golden after like years of sitting at the bottom of the river. It's like beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. For sure, 100%, 100%. 100%.
I love that. Did you guys watch any Outer Banks at all?
No, I've never seen that.
Stupidest show.
You watch so many more shows than me, or we just watch very different shows, probably.
I did recently rewatch all 3 of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and they hold up. They're very good.
I would say
all 3 hold up?
The best one, the first one is the best one. The first one's the best one. The second one is okay, but the third one is just an amazing. It's for what it's worth, for what it is, it's an amazing movie. It's so the way that they like play around with like people's motivations is so good. Like everyone's a bad guy, everyone's a good guy. The writing is incredible. It's like it's really good. It ends okay. There's issues with it, but it's great. It's just good pirate movie. I recommend a rewatch.
I think I recently watched 2. I watched 1 and 2, and I was like, wow, 1 was amazing. 2 was so terrible, I'm not going to continue.
2 is not as bad as you thought, because it ends badly, because 3 cleans up a lot of 3 ties up a lot of 2's issues. So you got to watch all 3 of them.
All right, so it sounds like we're mostly just doing Pirates of the Caribbean with maybe a bit of extra fantasy shenanigans than even they have. Is that?
But what about time? I definitely am down for a Pirates of the Caribbean vibe, but I don't necessarily. I almost want it to be like modern day, like Bob's Burgers, like teenage hooligans, you know?
Almost less pirate, but that's not really very. Oh, so you want like the antagonists to be pirates, but not the boys? I was thinking the boys would be pirates.
Oh, the boys are pirates.
Can be pirates too. Teenage boy pirates.
That's
like,
true.
That's less modern day, or at least not modern day real world. I guess I don't know.
Well, here's my thing with that is how true do we want it to be to like kid growing up in Hawaii, like how that, because that feeling is very important to the story, but that doesn't mean we have to stick to that specifically.
I think when you're a teenager, you feel like you're an adult. I've always felt like that. When I was a teenager, I felt like an adult, and now that I'm an adult, I feel like I'm not. I'm so much younger than everyone else. Like, does that make sense to you guys?
It does.
Like,
Yes.
So when I was that age, I felt older than I am now. Like now I don't feel like, I feel like I'm surrounded by older people, so I feel young. But back then I felt like I was I ran this ocean. Like this was my bay. Like my knife, my island that I say then I'll go pick it up on my boat.
You know what's important to me then is that kind of invincible feeling that like young people have sometimes, you know?
Pirates have, man. Pirates get that feeling.
But I also feel like it could be youth. It could just be like a youth in, like, I feel like an island youth growing up in like the Pirates of the Caribbean islands would have a similar feeling. It doesn't need to be, if we wanted to go not modern.
Yeah.
I'm hearing One Piece is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't actually seen that, but
familiar. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like cultural osmosis familiar with that, but not actually.
I am unfamiliar.
Nah, we don't actually have to do One Piece, but
there's purely just not enough like pirate content out there. We owe it to the world to make good pirate content, I think.
I think so.
Jonas, continuing from the conversation we were just having, would you want to play yourself or somebody else in this childhood story of yours?
I think I want to play myself, actually. I think it's a fun opportunity. Really fun.
Absolutely. And as we get into as we get more and more into this, I think it's going to be so interesting to see who wants to play themselves and who doesn't. Like Emma did not. My friend Mitch did. Because he was like, let me fix my past.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I feel like I don't want, like, I know what story I'm going to do when it's my turn next, and I don't think I want to play myself.
I can see wanting to play myself for certain stories, but not that story. I don't know.
I think I don't like myself in the upcoming story, so I don't want to play myself in it.
Ooh, I'm excited for your upcoming story.
Sizzle.
Whoa, fascinating teaser from Nathan.
Yeah, I think if I had picked a disparaging story, maybe.
Right.
Go on.
But for our socials, I'm going to take that clip of Nathan going, I don't think I want to play myself. I don't think I like who I was in my next story, and put it over some really sad music and like make an emo edit.
I don't know if that was the tone that I had when I said it.
Kevin's going to edit this out.
Yeah, the clip that I send you won't have this in it.
Yeah, clip that.
Too much power. Okay, so let's see. We have some good characters in John, Dax, and Jonas. We have like a pretty good setting, like just like a beautiful setting in the form of Flat Island. It's called Flat Island. Can you tell me more about Flat Island, just as somebody who's never been there?
It's a flat island. It's like not that far from shore. The center of the island is like all like how do I describe it? It's like a round island, and there's like a little shore that you can kind of like dock a little small tiny boat onto, like a kayak or something. And then there are these. The backside of it has these cliffs a little bit that go off into like really. It's kind of far offshore, so the big waves kind of hit that side of it a little more, and then the shore facing side is a little more calm. And then on the island there are these, like, how to describe it? There are like holes, these big like holes that you can kind of like climb into, and the ocean is like there too, so you can like kind of swim around in the little, like, what do you call those, like
Tide pools, you mean? Or
no, more like lagoons? Is a lagoon the word?
Like, you know that, like, they call it like the mermaid cave or whatever on the west side. It's that type of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the name for that would be though.
I think lagoon is the word. No.
Maybe.
I think lagoon simply must be the word.
I don't know how to call it. Like a cave, but it's not really. It's like it's like a sea cave, like an open air sea cave. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. And then there's like the center of the island. You can't really go into the center of the island because there's like this, like, how do I describe it? Like a little tiny rope fence, because it's a bird sanctuary. So the center of it you can't go. So you can go around the island, but you can't go into the center. And it's usually there's people there.
Magical.
Yeah, you should go. You should go to look. Google Flat Island, Oahu.
No, I want mind's eye to be the thing that I work off of. I don't want to know what it looks like. That ruins my immersion.
Fine. Wouldn't want to ruin your immersion.
I think also marketing this podcast as an Alaska-Hawaii collab. Like, we both live in beautiful dream places.
Yeah, there you go.
That the rest of the world jealous of.
Yeah, don't worry about all of your guys' childhood stories being from the suburbs of Toronto. No.
Hey, Maddie's from Pennsylvania.
Think about it. Yeah, the suburbs of Philadelphia are equally interesting.
All right, Maddie, do you want to be, Mr. Dax, the, meatball? Or do you want to be...
I'm kind of interested in being the villain. Like, I don't know if you guys were feeling that too, but I kind of want to be the mean diver that loses the knife or whatever form that takes exactly.
All right, Emma, so do you want to be John or Dax?
I want to be Dax. I want to be the meatball.
All right, so I'm the John, the smart guy who was compared to a cool Millhouse.
Millhouse is bad. I've got better ones. I'm sure I can think of a better one for him.
It's okay. Don't worry. Like I said, it doesn't really matter because these are not going to be related to them at all. We're just going to be using that scaffolding for the stats, and that's basically it.
Are we all pirates?
The way you want to hear my like thought process on this?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I was thinking of like myself as like a lone pirate with like a, I don't know, some like a lone wolf, and then like here's a big treasure and goes to like some like Tortuga or something to find a crew and like meets a crew and like
So you're like Johnny Depp at the start of the movie with the
Yes.
terrible.
yes,
But you
again,
found a great treasure, including a weird sword or whatever. Okay. I love
yes.
That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
And I've lost the treasure, but I need to go retrieve my treasure, but it also belongs to someone else, but I'm like a scallywag who's stealing it for myself, self-righteous or whatever, and go to, Tortuga to find a crew, and amongst the crew are, Dax and John, and whatever. I mean, we can add a third 4 or 5 crew members to this ship. You know what I mean? That's my thought process.
I think that we go, because for now we only need the 4 characters.
Yeah.
Maddie's going to be some sort of Davy Jones-esque lost sword guy.
Yes.
I
love it.
It's helpful to similar to like in D&D where it's helpful to just have the characters know each other at the beginning. It's probably helpful for you guys to be like long lost friends or something.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, can I
feel
say?
like we were on a crew together. Oh, what's
I want to say that Dax now runs a beachside or canal side. Ooh, make it extra fun. Instead of like being in a canal, it's like actually like on an offshore bar that sells rum and stuff, just like
yes.
And that's like part of like the instead of stealing beer, like I'll just like bring some barrels of rum or whatever.
Stolen rum.
Yeah, stolen rum. Oh yeah, maybe I work at it, but I don't own the place.
That's
I'm just
there you go.
stealing it on my way out.
And you've got a shitty boat too. You just have the boat. It's just Dax's boat.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna need help.
How are you imagining it right now?
I'm imagining it as like a coming of age movie villain. Like you guys watched that? It was the Frankie Muniz one.
The lying one?
You know how like in all the like the 90s and early 2000s like teen movies the villain was some bumbling like worker who cared too much about being a grown up and like
You mean the blue guy and he was lying and it's that one? Or am I thinking of a different
it was like Big Fat Liar or something like that.
Yeah. You know, like family movies where it's like just those movies that like your family watches way too many times for no reason? That was one of my family's movies.
It's a great movie though.
Yes.
I love that movie.
Yeah. That is literally who I'm thinking of. Or like, yeah, but I also with an air of danger too. Like it's like when you're a kid and you're just throwing rocks at cars and then like somebody, the adult figure shows up and like you feel genuine dread. I want it also to have that vibe. Yeah. Anyway, I'll think through it. Also, did we settle more on like what are our fantasy levels like? Have we discussed that and I just forgot?
Pirates aren't magical, but the enemies are, I think, right? That's how I was imagining it.
I have an idea for like tying this to what you were just saying, Maddie. You could be you're not a pirate. We're pirates, but you're like the ship type, like a responsible, whatever, stuffy trading company.
We're literally doing Pirates of the Caribbean. You're going to be Lord Beckett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was either that or the other one. We're going to be stealing it no matter what. All right, so Jonas, just so you know, the way this game works is based on a dice system. So D4 to D12. The bigger the dice is, the better you are at that thing.
Yeah.
So if you want to tell me what you want to assign, then I'll type it in. For your grit, your brawn, deafness, mind, and charm.
Okay, someone else go first so I understand what's happening here.
Does anyone have an idea about what they want their character to be?
You should go then, Nathan. Start us off.
Okay. So this guy, he was described as a smart engineer man, so I'm going to put mind at D12.
Nice.
I'm going to put grit at D10. I don't know this person, but to me, anytime you're talking like coming of age, teenage, whatever, you've got to be a little bit scrappy. So I'm putting a D10 there.
Nice.
I'm going to put deafness at D8 for the same kind of reason. I feel like, you're always scrambling around. I'm going to say that my character is going to be more charming than he is brawny. So D6 and then D4. He's definitely not the muscle of the group.
Speaking of the muscle of the group, your boy Dax is number 1 brawn.
D12 on that brawn, of course.
Yep. And also high brains. It seems like, likes to. I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll go brawn, grit, and then brains.
Okay.
Followed charm and then deftness. Being so big and strong, maybe it's hard for me to weasel around in a more slinky way.
I get you.
Okay, I understand how this works now. Okay, I would say that Pirate Jonas would be pretty smart and charming, but I would say charming more than smart. So I'm gonna put charm as the 12.
Yeah, I'm pretty smart and charming.
No. Since you guys are pretty smart too. Since you guys are no, it's just in the sense of the story.
No.
He was pretty smart. No, you're right.
No, leave it as it is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bully you into changing your stats.
No, you're right though. So I'm gonna write on here. 12 there. Deftness, I would say deftness is the D10, and then mind is the 8. Brawn, what do I have? A 6 and a 4. I would say 6 for grit, and then I would say probably not the most brawn. So pretty weak back then, pretty small guy. Does that make sense? Is that good radio?
Definitely.
Yep.
I think, okay, help me decide on the brand. Like, am I going to be a bumbling, like, brute who has anger issues? Or am I going to be, like, more, like the Beckett, like the Commodore Beckett guy who is charming and, like, but ultimately, like, a bad, like, capitalist,
What I like so far is that we all are pretty smart, so we're all pretty clever, and I like the idea of like all of like even like we're an even match in terms of cleverness with our enemy, but also it's kind of fun to have 3 smart protagonists and then 1 dumb.
Yes. Okay. I think that I'm gonna be high charm, low brains.
Nice.
I think
we need a summer. We have a fall, winter, and spring. We need a summer.
True. Okay, it's gonna be like a
dumb.
Maybe more of like a. I'm not gonna do another British accent. We went hard on the British accents last time, but okay. Charm first, then deft, then brawn, grit, then that brains, then grit. Because the only thing that is he's dumb, but he is also a wimp. I think.
His foppishness outweighs even his dumbness?
Yes, exactly.
All right. And then the other things we have to decide are, well, first of all, the like little attribute things that I'll send over, and then also we have to decide like what it is that your character wants and what it is that they fear. That's like the improv guideline kind of a thing.
Also names. Are we creating...
Oh yeah, that's it.
I'll be Pirate Jones instead of Jonas.
Nice.
Pirate Yee.
I don't know what the name is, but I kind of want to make Jax a lady, but like a very like sticking to the archetype, like a butch, ball lady,
butch queen.
Yes, but I don't know what a good name for like.
You can also think like pirate names, like it could just be like a nickname.
Oh yeah.
Like when you were still going to be a boy, I was thinking like Meatball would be just a decent nickname as a pirate person.
Yeah.
You could also just take any name and add a Y to the end of it, and that's most of like the butch NBs I know.
Okay, pirate girl names. Bonnie, Azure, Bertha. Ooh, I like Bertha. That really reads as a lady meatball name.
Bertha it is.
Yeah.
First Lady Bertha.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where ships are birthed?
Oh, probably. That's what she's named after.
What are you thinking for your name, Maddie?
What? I feel like I need to know more about the world still. Like, what was our time period again? Present day.
1500s.
Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean time.
Oh, we're just leaning into the Pirates of the Caribbean here.
Well, I don't know. What do we want it to be? Also, is this fantasy? Is it real world-ish? What are
So my vote is, because Maddie's character isn't going to be like a Davy Jonesy anyways, we could just do mostly straight pirates with maybe like a little bit of like magical sword, whatever kind of a thing, without it necessarily being like full fantasy if you guys want.
We don't necessarily need to make like historically accurate either. It can be like
No,
vague
obviously,
storybook time.
We're never going to aim for historical accuracy.
But this knife is kind of like the lone magical item in our world. Maybe there's something special about it, but it is not.
Yeah, something like that, and like that's why your character is also after it. It's some sort of MacGuffin.
Yeah. But if we're Pirates of the Caribbean era, damn, am I like I'm like East India Trading Company dude.
You could be like the Spanish. You could be like the Spanish settlers, or like I don't know.
American. There's lots of places.
There's Americans, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What else was there? Obviously, there's like slave traders and stuff there, but that's kind of rough.
I think I'm gonna pass on that. But maybe I kind of like American. Weirdly enough, like a very almost like a Texan. Like
oil trader.
Maybe the vibe of like a fucking a Texan tourist in Hawaii, but like obnoxious.
Oh, like a Teddy Roosevelt type, like an explorer, like a dad from Thornberries, Wild Thornberries.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I can kind like I'm all about adventure, but that's not American. I'm all about
you should
adventure
do like a
at any cost. I will not hesitate to sue or behead a youth that steps foot onto my ship. Okay, then his name will be give me names. Shout out names.
Randy.
His name's Randy. No, I have an Uncle Randy. Randy probably won't listen to this. Okay, Randy it is. Randy
Johnson.
Randy Johnson. Isn't that a baseball pitcher?
I mean,
you try to think of any American name, you're going to find a baseball pitcher eventually.
That's true.
Even if you're not thinking of a real one, it definitely is a baseball pitcher.
Okay, in that case, I'm Randy McGuire.
Ooh, Randy McGuire.
Randy McGuire.
All right, if you guys can click on the thing I just sent through, it's got the different traits and stuff.
Okay, so what am I supposed to do here?
All right, so this is you either pick one or two, you either pick two or three traits that are just describe your character.
Wow.
And you picked one from, you have to at least get one from mixed and one from positive. And yeah.
I don't think we used this at all last game.
Listen, we're trying to get better at it.
Okay.
Hopefully this page here will make it so that we see it more and remember it more.
Shout out Treasure Hunter as being one of the attributes. Like, that's an easy layup.
I think I have to take Treasure Hunter, huh?
Hell yeah.
So wait, I have to take one from mixed? Is that how that works?
Yes.
Just one?
You can take one from each and then pick another one from like either of them, I guess, if you think it fits. But just a minimum of one from mixed.
Rebellious for sure.
Nice.
And then I have a third one?
Yeah. Yes,
Optional third.
Optional third.
These are fun though, I like these.
Thanks. Like Emma said, we don't use them very well, but we should.
But we would like to.
We're working on it, okay?
Lucky. I'm a lucky rebellious treasure hunter. That makes sense. That's fitting.
Yes.
I'm thinking brave and muscle for Bertha. Ooh, and a little rebellious too.
Well, aren't we birds of a feather?
Hell yeah, we're little rebellious pirate boys and gal.
Alright, I was told that I was loyal, so I'm going to specifically grab that. Loyal, self-sacrificing, and intuitive. Alright, Maddie, do you have yours?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with wealthy, which the for our listeners, the description for wealthy is the character is wealthy.
Yeah,
Get it?
that's us.
It's true. And then I'm gonna go with maybe a trained killer.
Dang.
And then I'm gonna go with perfectionist. So I gain adversity tokens on successes rather than failures.
Oh, look at you.
Thank you.
All right. I think the last one is just the wants and fears and methods. Maddie, do you want to go first? Give Jonas an example.
Yes. Okay, my character wants financial control of the region that we're in. Like if it's Hawaii, he wants to own Hawaii. If it's like the Caribbean, he wants to own the Caribbean. I think it's very a very manifest destiny villain. And then what?
Sorry, I have an idea. I have an idea. We don't have to go with this, but maybe like you also own the bar that I work at and that we steal rum from. Maybe that's even how you hear about us going for this knife and then like start going after us.
That's beautiful. That's gold.
It's a subsidiary of the McGuire Corporation.
Exactly.
The bar is called Randy's. It's the worst name for a bar ever, but
McGuire's.
McGuire's is great.
Like Mahoney's.
Oh my god, McGuire and Sons.
Yeah, Mahoney and Sons. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And then I think I'm torn between. I think probably the easiest way to sum it up is that my character fears being powerless. But I'm also thinking that like in reality he would fear an authority figure from his youth, like a mother or something. Because probably a shitty kid, as all villains are.
So maybe like you feel being powerless, and specifically like somebody with more power than you.
Yes,
is what you're really afraid of.
Absolutely, yeah.
We got mommy issues, McGuire.
My mom and I have a great relationship. Thank you very much.
All right, who wants to go next?
I'll take a stab at it.
All
right. Wants and fears. So I can't just want the knife, right? That's too basic. I want an adventure. I want an adventure. I'm bored. I want like something to do. So like a sense of adventure. What's a better way to say that?
Like a specific goal or quest. Like you want a thing to go after.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I want. Yeah. I want an adventure as a noun. Yeah. Exactly. Like a. I guess adventure is always a noun, huh? Fear. I don't fear authority. I would fear being alone, maybe. Like doing this on my own. Being a solo pirate. I'm looking for. Yeah. I'd be afraid of being marooned or being outcast or being mutinied. Does that work?
Yeah.
Bertha wants to get one over on her stupid boss, mommy issues McGuire over there. And fear. What does Bertha fear? Ooh, what's the equivalent of the tourists gonna be? Like, are there tourists in this?
Maybe it could be like non-pirates, like just people who are like
civilians.
To and fro merchant civilian people. Yeah, people who aren't in the life kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually want to say that Bertha fears. Maybe they can be like slightly more cool and mystical birds. You know, like
They can be sea monsters.
Here's the birds that are on the island. So Bertha can't go on that island because she's like terrified. Maybe they maybe she had a bad experience with one of these birds. We don't know.
I like it.
That is such a fun choice. And also like something I would never have thought of. That is such a fun piece of color for your character.
Because I was thinking, like, I was remembering, like, oh, Dax had to circle the island and wasn't too happy about it, like, wasn't getting off the sailboat or anything, so I'm like, okay, yeah. That's great. I want it to be something on the island, but the tourists don't make sense. I think the birds make sense.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm going to say once, do you guys have ideas about what this character, I'm picturing, like, in, like, the Goonies character, this guy is the one who's, like, not the main guy, but he's, like, on the side, knows some stuff, will spout some fun information. What does that character want?
Maybe he wants to be more central. Like, maybe he wants to be, like, more in this friend group than he already is.
Is he?
I feel like that character wants an adventure for adventure's sake too, but that's kind of what I want.
Maybe for the sake of having a narrative foil for Jonas, like instead of, even though the dynamic of like somebody that was not as down for adventure wasn't present in Jonas's friends, maybe your character is more like, not like capital C conservative, but like maybe he's thinking about his future.
More cautious.
He's more cautious, yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna say that what he wants to be is he wants to be like one of the civilian tourists or whatever. Like he maybe doesn't want to be doing like the craziness stuff that he feels like he's getting a bit too old for or something like that. I haven't found. Okay, I really am trying to think of like what like the nerdy side character in a Goonies movie would want and fear.
Adventure. Don't they want adventure?
Yeah, character both
I don't
want and fear adventure.
I can want treasure instead of adventure to change
I
mine.
like that. I think I like the likes and I like the wants and fears adventure.
Nice.
Change mine to wants treasure then.
No. I mean, it's okay for two things to want, and the way that you want it is different anyway.
That's a great buddy dynamic. That's a reason you're friends, you know?
True.
Who wants to do the in-character outro?
I think Maddie has to do it.
I'll try it. I'm Randy McGuire. Well, it's a beautiful day on the bright blue ocean, which I own. Hopefully no young upstarts try to take my beautiful jewel of the sea from me. Now, I'll see you next week on Source Material, the podcast.
Amazing.
That's what we were wanting.
Perfect.
So good.
Thank you.
All right, Jonas, do you have anything to plug as far as your life goes?
No, I don't. I don't have plugs.
Fair enough. Okay, our intro and outro music is done by Keiko Akato, so thank you very much for that. Our wonderful logo and everything else is done by Emma, who you can find
at mshineart on Instagram. That's me.
And I'm at Nathan, who writes on most things. And Maddie, you want to talk about the new Instagram?
Oh my God, yes. There's going to be by the time you're hearing this, there's a poppin' source material crew Instagram. And maybe we'll get other socials going. And I myself am matt.kok for writing things I sometimes do.
All right, now I'm going to stop.
This was so fun.
Love it. Yeah.
That's another amazing thing about Pirates of the Caribbean you guys don't understand is that the whole theme of the movies trilogy is that like the world is getting smaller because pirates used to be like ran this world and it was full of mystical things, but then the Eastern the trading companies and the governments are coming in and like turning this like magical world into just trade and like modern world, and that's like a theme of the movie.
Themes of the death of the magical world.
It is, dude. It's like straight out of Lord of the Rings with like the Age of Man coming to be. It's like a thing.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna end this podcast with like Gandalf and Frodo going to the Grey Havens of youth piracy.
Exactly. And I think that's it's like a allegory for teenagers, right? Like this world is so magical and it feels so big, and then as you get older, it just gets smaller, and you realize that it's like.
I mean, the second movie was just bad. It's okay.
Watch the third one.
I've seen them all.
Watch it again. Watch the third one again.
There's other movies.
No, watch all three of them
Name
tonight.
one other movie.
Name one other movie other than Pirates of the Caribbean.
I cannot.
Yeah,
All right,
you can't.
click on the thing I sent. It is a thing that brings us to characters.